Guys, wait. Let's get a pic while we're here. This is one for the men's. Awesome. Nice. Grew up in Glendora. Probably the most impressionable time. I grew up like all over SoCal.
Okay.
Like I spent some time in like San Gabriel Valley, Arcadia, and then
Love Arcadia.
yeah. Oh my god,
Hella
the
good.
food is so good.
I actually just went to go get went to a crazy. I have a really old house in Glendale that I'm like trying to fix up.
Trying to renovate a little. Yeah.
Yep. So I keep like finding all the spots, and there's a really good antique store in San Gabriel Valley in Arcadia, and then I went and got some bomb ass pho. I'm from the Bay.
Yeah.
So like I need, you know what I mean? If I feel a little sicky, I need my pho immediately. Pho guy immediately.
Oh,
Some people want their matzo ball soup. Some people want whatever. I like need pho. It brings me back to life.
Excellent taste.
Thank you.
Approved. Asian approved.
I love it. I love it. So you grew up all over California, always wanting to be a superstar?
Pretty much, yeah. No. I think I grew up like wanting to direct and like tell stories. My goal was to be a storyteller, but it just so happened that like I felt like I really enjoyed like acting and performance. But I still, even like when I'm not necessarily doing an acting role, I mean, even you can make the argument that acting is still storytelling, you know.
I would say it is.
It's totally like hand in hand, you know, you help tell a story. So yeah.
And you went to Berkeley.
I did, yeah.
For performance, or what did you major in?
I majored in film.
I didn't even know Berkeley had a film department.
Yeah, me neither. I showed up and was like, I could do this? Okay.
Because that's tight. I mean, honestly, being from San Francisco, going to UC Berkeley was always like, I mean, it's the pinnacle,
it's the pinnacle, yes.
My uncle went for architecture. My sister, who is probably one of the smartest people I have ever known in my life, went to Harvard, speaks Chinese, speaks French.
Wow.
Lawyer. Didn't get into Berkeley, and it was like a huge thing.
Oh, okay.
So whenever I meet kids that went to Berkeley, I'm like, damn, you're really good at taking tests.
Yeah, pretty much.
You're very good at taking tests?
No, I finessed my way in so hard.
Interview? The
essay. That's where I could finesse, you know? Fun fact, I got into Berkeley on the lowest percentile of acceptance that they'll take. So like, I was in like the bottom 0.5 percentile. So like the average was like 3.9, right? Like 3.9 GPA. The lowest they'll take, if you look at literally like the 1% percentile of the worst, it was like 3.7, 3.8, which was like all the athletes were in that percentage, like people that like really shouldn't be going there. But I finessed my way in. I think I wrote a very endearing letter.
What was it about?
It was about how much I wanted to do what I wanted to do, which was to work in entertainment. And I think maybe to get a letter like that to Berkeley was so unique.
Yeah, because who knew they had film?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like actually shook at that, because had I known, I probably would have made a play to go for it. Because when I was growing up, it was like UCLA was the place to go for entertainment.
Well, that's where I didn't get accepted.
Oh my God.
That's where I secretly wish that I got to go to, because I was already in LA. So in my mind, I'm like, that'd be great. But yeah.
Here's what I'll say though. You have what the kids call Riz.
Yeah. Okay.
And I will say, I think a little bit infiltration of the Bay.
Yes.
Gave you maybe even more Riz.
Maybe.
Because the Bay Area swag is a different kind of swag.
It is very swaggy in the Bay.
Yeah. Like, and you've got a lot of swag. In fact, I feel like even from brother, son to now, you've got a little more swag happening. What's up with this glow up situation?
No. Hear me out. I think I've always had some swag. I think I've always been a little swag. Granted, I do feel like my swag output has increased over
Your
the
swag
years.
input has increased.
yeah, it's increased, but I think in Brother Son, they actually, so the wardrobe department and the creative team really wanted to like reduce the swag. They wanted no swag.
Oof, that's hard to take back.
Yeah, but they did. and it
Okay.
worked. It worked. So I feel like
But
so
you
I feel
were
like the
so adorable. I mean, you were very endearing in
yeah,
Brother
yeah.
Son.
Nah, thank you.
You're like, "Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah. Oh, wait. Thank you."
yes. Just soaking it all in. No, no, yeah, that's so funny because I do feel like especially moving, like changing living in a different city has given me like a different perspective. And I do feel like I've gotten swaggier as well in New York.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's talk about New York. So, had
Yeah.
you moved there last year?
Yes. Yes. Moved there around
Why?
November.
For why?
Soul searching.
Oh,
Yeah.
have well, New York. Listen, I love New York. I went there, so I did not get into UCLA or UC Berkeley, but I got into what was my first choice, which was the new school, and I loved it. I mean, but it was also like 2002 where there was no real internet and the city was buck wild. Like I
Yeah.
like convinced I literally had a Bay Area rapper by the name of San Quinn, you may or may not know him,
Okay.
email or like text some alleged drug dealer at a bar that I was cool and got a like a bottle service job. Like it was so
Okay.
next level, but I really found a lot of myself living in New York.
Yes.
And I love New York. I can't live there
Yes.
because I can't stay inside. I'm like, let's go out. We got to be with the people. Like it's so energetic
Yes. Yes.
that I'm like, whoa, dude, I can't handle this.
So that's how I feel if I were to get like older in New York. Like I think if I'm like, because right now I'm in my 20s and
How old are you?
I'm 28.
Yeah, tick, tick, boom, dude. It's about to be donezo, though.
I know. I think that's why New York is so fitting right now.
28 in New York is what's up, especially with like
Oh, it's the best.
a
It's the best
great
time.
career.
Yeah, yeah.
You
Well,
are
yeah.
obviously smart, 3.7 GPA, Berkeley.
Right, right.
Rizzing to the Riz comes home. New York is the time. And also no pandemic vibes.
No, that's
It's New
great.
York. New York
That's
is what's up.
huge.
It's
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah,
Though
it's so awesome.
I wish for you, I wish for everyone, an early 2000s New York was lit.
Yeah, I can't say I've ever experienced that. I
No, because
wouldn't.
you were like 10, but it was
Yeah.
tight. You know what I mean? It was really something else. So you went to go find yourself last year. Were you like moving indefinitely, or did you give yourself one of those like, I'll go for a couple months, see how it goes?
That's how it started. It basically, my trip to New York was like an extended vacation. Like I wanted to go for 1 month
Oh,
and then just
that's short.
very short. Yeah, 1 or 2 months. And then I was like, oh my God, this place is awesome. I
Yeah,
want to keep spending time here. So I just kept on subleasing and then I, had some, it's so easy to sublease too in New York.
I
It's
know.
so easy to just like find something,
Yeah.
you know?
Wait till you have to like actually go get an apartment though, because then it's like the mob comes in.
Oh yeah, yeah,
It's all
yeah.
this like weird landlord shit and like
Yeah.
real estate agents that you don't have here. And it's
Yes, I hear they take
mental.
fees.
Yes.
I hear the people who help you find a place to rent
Yep.
will take like a month of the rent.
Correct. And it's like you can't just find an apartment without it. It's honestly, it's
So
very
weird.
weird. It's very different to hear.
I did hear on the news that New York just put in a law to ban that. So they're trying to
Good.
get rid of it, and then all of like the real estate agents were like protesting.
Listen,
But
I'm out here. Everybody needs to make a little bit of money.
yeah,
You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying
valid,
to like
valid.
mess up anybody's hustle,
Yeah,
but that is a racket.
yeah,
And I
agree.
remember being young, being like, wait, what? I gotta like fucking get this money to get this apartment. I'm like, this shit's crazy. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
this
it
is
really
not it.
is.
It's
It's the
nuts.
only place, and I don't know of anywhere else that does that.
Are you
Yeah.
finding that auditioning and acting is same, different? Like, what's that vibe in New York?
I mean, everything is so remote now, you know?
Everything's to tape.
Yeah, everything's to tape. I feel like most of the time people just book directly off of tape, even like series regulars. It's
That's
pretty
crazy.
yeah, it's pretty rare to see like actual chemistry tests these days.
See, that's a bummer
Like in
because that's
person.
where I thrived.
Really?
I could book something so I don't act anymore. obviously. I'm just myself. The greatest act of them all. But especially like in San Francisco when I was commercial acting,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
could go in and I remember there was this one casting, like whatever office, and a friend of mine, Chris Rydell, who ended up becoming like a big YouTuber, he went in for a Yahoo commercial and they were looking for a guy. And he and I like were saying what's up to each other outside. And the casting
They were
director
like, "Oh,
saw it and they were like, hey, can
come
you
in,
come in? And
come
I
in."
booked the role.
Wow, that's
So
how it
I think
is.
that kind
Yeah.
of is too bad. But you've got a lot of Riz
Yeah.
on the interwebs. So perhaps you don't need to go in.
I think I do prefer going in at some point,
Yeah.
but what I'm worried about is like if it doesn't if people aren't used to it, right? Then I feel like there's like a layer of like rustiness that everybody feels when they do finally go in.
Sure.
So you know what I'm saying? Like it's like give me one or the other. But if you start mixing and matching both, I feel like as us actors, we just get confused. We get too used to one thing.
Yeah. Brother Son, though, is kind of great because you were the star. So you have a pretty large body of work to be like,
Luckily, yes.
I'm the shit.
I
I'll
I
say it
have
for you.
Thank you, thank you. I mean, I wouldn't say it was I don't see it as that. I feel like it was just like a really amazing opportunity to to showcase like work. I feel like if that show were to be greenlit like in this like 2024, I have a feeling that it could have gotten canceled just because of like the economy right now, with like the recession.
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, it's awful.
This
So
ain't
I
it. I'm like, do I have a kid? Should I get full body liposuction and start OnlyFans? It's a daily back and forth.
could
You
do
know what I'm
both.
saying?
It's 2024. No one cares anymore. No one cares.
Yeah, I think people
So-
would care with me. I get away with a lot. I feel like that might push me over the edge.
That might do it.
Do you know
That
what
might
I
do
mean?
it.
Like,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
one of
yeah.
those people that I feel like has really risen the corporate ladder while still
Risen.
being fucking buck wild on the internet, and somehow it works.
Yeah, that's cool.
OnlyFans is where the buck might stop. You know what I'm saying?
Well, for now.
For now.
Give it a few more years.
I tried
We'll
feet.
see.
No one cared. I have beautiful feet. No
Yeah.
one gave a shit. It's not paying the bills.
It's always the entry point. That's what I heard. It's
Yeah.
like the gateway drug to significantly more unhinged
Like
things.
significantly.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, Brother Son was so awesome. It was like so fun to
Aw,
watch. There were
thank
so
you.
many great characters.
Yeah, yeah.
When did you start making these dating commentary videos? Because I had obviously seen Brother Son, but how you are here is I met your manager at a Hollywood Reporter event,
Yeah.
and I was
yeah.
waiting for my car, and I don't even remember how Andrew and I started talking about it, but I'm like, oh yeah, I love this one kid. And I literally showed your video.
No way.
Yes, that's how it happened.
Oh my goodness.
And then classic Liz Cully, he's like, oh, I rep that kid. And I was like, really? And he's like, yeah, it's Sam. And I'm like, tight. I'm like, you should come on my show. Never hear again, never heard from, whatever. I'm at the Sunset Marquee 2 or 3 weeks ago, and a friend of mine who owns Paper Magazine
yes,
was like,
yes.
come have a drink with me. I was like, all right, dude, like I'm in between meetings, whatever. So I come down some Sunset Marquee. We're like looking through all the bungalows. He's like, oh, this is my friend Adam. He has like a streetwear line or some shit. I'm like, blah, 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 LA. Okay.
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah. LA conversation.
And we're like walking through. I was like, you look so familiar. He's like, you look so familiar. And I'm like, okay. He's like, wait, we met
yes.
at the party and you want my client on your show. And I was like, oh my God, yes. And then I was like, wait, I'm homies with Jenny Yang. Anyway, it all came together.
Small world. Truly, really small world.
But while I definitely loved you and Brother Son, where I really fell in love with you was on your TikTok and Instagram.
Yeah.
How did the dating videos begin?
Oh man. Well, they're authentic. I'll say that.
What is dating like in New York?
It's so unhinged. I have no idea even how to describe it. I mean, I'm curious what your dating experience. I mean, did you date in New York when you were
Hell
in New
yeah, I
York?
dated in New York.
Well-
I dated fucking everybody in New York. I really threw the cat around. I was like 19 to 22, super hot. I was the first ever hip hop intern at Capitol Records.
Wow. Yeah.
I was like running around New York, my crew was like Alexander Wang. I mean, I had a very cool friend group that are all very successful now, but there were no dating apps.
Yeah. Well, so that's what's interesting is I feel like New York. I saw on a TikTok or something one time where someone was saying like New York was like the original Tinder, the original Hinge, like before dating apps were a thing. In the sense that
Yeah,
like you
in what
can
way?
always feel like you can find like there's like a
Somebody to have
plethora.
sex with in a bar? Correct.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much.
I'm like, isn't that what it is? Yeah, I think New York, the cool thing about what I love about New York is like I went last week. I go once or twice a year now. I am not exaggerating when I tell you I ran into 3 people in New York.
That you
How
knew?
yeah, how is that even like
Yeah.
possible? Like, do you know what I mean? Because you're
Yeah.
out. And
Oh.
so it's like I literally was outside like texting someone. I hear, is that fucking Liz Cully? And I like turn up and it's my girl Willa. And I'm like, what up? Or like I'm walking
Yeah.
down the street and it's like Liz. And I'm like,
Yep.
oh my God. Like,
Yep.
and so that's the
That's the charm.
energy
That's the
and the
charm of the
charm of New
city.
York. So I would think that dating in New York would be way better than LA.
No. No, no, no. I think that's a common misconception. You would think that, right? Because there's more people. The problem is everybody is thinking the same thing, which is, oh, there's so many people. I could do better.
Bigger, better deal.
Yes. Yes. And that's like a very common trap to fall into. And it's hard to too, because it's like, why would you want to commit to someone in New York when the thrill is you can meet so many people and you never know who you're going to meet the next day? I think that's the thing that's on a lot of people's mind when they first start dating. I mean, granted, I do feel like a lot of people eventually get like tired because it's like exhausting.
That's what it is. You get tired and you give up, Sam.
You give up and you just go, I'll just choose one. That's
You give up on
God.
yourself and
It's
you
real.
just say, anyone take me.
Yeah, it's real sad. It's real sad.
But you
No,
don't think
but
that happens in LA? Because I really find, and I'm going to speak of this more in like heterosexual dating.
sure. Yeah, I think the
Okay.
same. Yeah.
Because in LA, I see my poor straight girlfriends
Mm.
dating these just absolutely insufferable guys from Venice.
Just specifically from
Oh
Venice.
God. Or Santa Monica. And I mean, I just look around and I'm like, I would never fuck these guys. Like, I wouldn't
Yeah.
even let these guys come near me. No one has Riz. No one has Edge. Everybody's kind of weird.
Well,
Everybody was
what's the
like,
draw? What's drawing them into these
I don't
types
know
of
what's
guys?
drawing these girls. And because I feel like there is a lack of guys and they really have this ideal of what they want. I mean, I don't know because I'm
Huh.
not in it. It's my observation.
Right, right,
But I
right.
feel like LA is so hard to date in.
I agree. I think LA
But you
and New
think
York
New
go
York
kind of hand in hand.
hand in hand.
I think New York is worse because in LA, what I've noticed when I'm in LA is because of the fact that you have to like at least like drive to places,
Yeah.
it creates a little bit more of like a clique culture. Like
Okay.
like you hang out more with people you already know. So like you would hang out with people in like an immediate friend group or like in a connection or a circle, right?
That makes sense.
I mean, outside of like maybe like networking events and stuff, which does happen as well. But I think something about New York is just like you just run into so many people on a daily
You
basis. Like
do.
you could literally look over 500 unique faces. Oh, should we pause?
Who's that? Trap phone, 2 phones, one for the
Trap
plug, one for the
phone.
load. What's going on here? Better hang up that phone. Pause. Let's all drink water. Really talking about dating makes me thirsty.
Ugh.
I guess, you know, the driving thing is tough in LA. I think even for like friend events, it's easy also to be like, I'm not doing this tonight.
Yeah.
You know, but
Yeah.
I think that there obviously has to be what makes your videos so funny is that they're so true, right? And I'm not even in the
Yes.
dating world, but watching like one of your videos is like, you know, the unoriginal guys on Hinge.
I want it to feel so real it hurts. That's my goal.
Can you
I
give
want it to be
me
painful.
a couple of like real truths that are so painful that it hurts as it relates to what you see most often on the dating apps?
Oh God. Okay. Oh, where do I start? There's so many. I think I think the thing with roster dating is
What's roster dating?
oh, no, you don't know? You don't know? Oh, man. It's honestly, it's better if you don't.
Is
It's
this a
just
Gen Z
so
thing?
sad. No, no, no. I think it's just like a modern dating thing. You have a roster.
Oh,
You
that
have
you're
a
like fucking all the time. You have like
yes,
one,
yes.
two,
So
three.
so in a
Honey,
way,
that ain't
it's
new.
like
We've been done that. I had a
okay.
roster too. I was poor. I couldn't eat. I had the guy that took me out Monday. I had the girl that took
Yes.
me out on Wednesday. I took blah 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 da, 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 da.
Ah,
Come on.
yes.
So we all have a roster.
I don't know. I feel like it's just so much more extreme.
Like, how big is the roster? I could only handle like 3 at a time.
That's pretty reasonable. I mean, I
Are we
think
talking
that's like
like
my
5
I know people that just go off the rails with that kind of stuff.
guys or girls or both?
Both.
Woof.
Both. Yeah. I think it's very common to be like a serial dater in New York just because it's like the amount of people that you can interact with and run into. So I know quite a few people, but I think my limit has always been like 3 is too much, honestly.
3
3 or
is a
4.
lot. It's a
3 or
lot of
4 is
energy
like my
exchange.
sweet spot. And then
Your
otherwise
sweet
it's
spot.
like I just yeah. Yeah.
What's like a line that you see girls on their, like, whether it's their tagline or their song that they choose or like a response that they give that's pretty across the board that you can feel is inauthentic, that they're just trying to reel you in?
Like on a DM or
Or like a thing. Like I just like guys that are like, "Oh, like um I've got a golden retriever and like I hope like I
yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
I love to play on my friends' apps, obviously.
Yes,
And I
yes,
just see these
yes.
guys like perfect Sunday afternoon. You, me, and my dog Buddy on a hike
Yeah.
at Runyon Canyon. It's
Yep.
like they
Yep.
have a dog to let you know they're not a serial killer or something. And I'm
Yeah.
like, but you could still have a dog and still be a serial killer. Like, or girls being like, I'm totally okay with you treating me like shit and I'll still come back for more. I'm like, what? Like, what is up? You know
Yeah,
what I
that's
mean? It's like,
crazy. That's
you
crazy.
know, what do you see like that are like patterns like that are often like
I think I see a lot of I am looking for like a mature, financially stable provider. It's like it's usually
provider?
yeah. It's usually like very specific statements like that.
Like the
Um
finance guy, 6'5", blue eyes, la
yeah,
di da.
yeah. I feel like I don't know if it's always been like this, but or maybe I think social media has like expedited certain trends, but I do feel like it has never been more alluring or not alluring, more like tempting for both sides, for guys and girls to find a wealthy partner.
Honestly,
Like,
you should do that. Don't
yeah,
marry
yeah,
for love, marry for financial stability. Make sure that motherfucker has a 401k.
yeah,
Maybe they have rich parents who will pay for their down payment. Because guess what? Out here struggling for real, it ain't that fun.
yeah,
I have a lot
yeah,
of character, Sam.
yeah.
Very self sufficient. I'm very tired.
Yeah, right, right.
My poor wife and I, we out here just fucking, I'm like, damn, girl, this is rough shit. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? I
yeah,
had a psychic on here. I'm like, please tell me I'm going to win the lottery. Didn't happen.
yeah.
Not happening. She said it wasn't going to happen for me.
That's why you find your partner on Hinge.
Interesting. That's a bummer. What about you now having this big social presence, being a famous actor, a storyteller? Do you have to be careful? Like, do you have to kind of shield the dating a little bit now?
I do try to as much as possible, but I've just realized that people will just find out no matter what. It's like relatively easy. Like the
Yeah.
longest I've ever been able to hide it was like 2.5 weeks.
Okay.
But what ends up happening, especially because like I post so much videos as well, that if it's not through acting, it's like someone will just find me on the street and just be like, "Oh, you're the Hinge guy." I love how I'm just known as the Hinge guy now.
Honestly, your manager pitched you as the Hinge guy.
Yeah, yeah.
And I had to go back and be like,
so good.
no, the brother son guy.
That's so funny. That's
Just so
so
you know.
funny.
So honestly, I'm not really looking for any more actors to represent, but like maybe I should just be a manager. But I was like, no,
Yeah.
Andrew, he's like in a hit Netflix show.
Yeah,
But okay.
yeah.
But yes, the Hinge guy, yes.
Yeah, so what ends up happening is like a lot of times I'll try and be as secretive about it as possible, but then like usually if I'm like on a date, some like a fan will come by and they're very like sweet about it, but they'll be like, "Hey, I appreciate your work, whether it's social media or brother son." Sometimes they'll ask for like a photo or something. But I'm just surprised that even when I'm like on a date where I kind of seem like I'm doing my own thing, someone will still come up and say hi. And they do it in like the nicest ways normally, so I
But
don't
what
really
is the
mind.
like?
But
Have you ever gone on a date with a fan? You had to have.
oh, of course, yeah, yeah. I
And
mean,
then are they like, let's like do a TikTok of each other? Like, has that ever happened?
oh no, thank goodness that hasn't happened.
Could you
But
imagine? That would be very fucking
yeah,
cringy.
that would be bad. I mean, I get cringed out if like someone is like a little bit too into whatever I'm doing. Cause like when I'm on a date, usually I try to like get to know the other person because I'm trying to figure out like, can you be my life partner? You know? So I'm
Oh,
trying to
you're
get
looking for a life partner.
always, always, yeah. I mean, listen, I'm looking for a life partner, but that doesn't mean like I, I'm not trying to. That's not my only intention. Like, obviously, I also want to have some fun too in the meantime.
Yeah.
But the goal is to meet a life partner.
Okay.
I think like that's something I'm very actively thinking about, that I've been thinking about. So
Ladies.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, I don't know.
It would just be, are you on Raya?
No, I don't like
Why?
Raya. Ooh, there's something.
Everybody's not feeling Raya anymore. It used to be the #1 stuns. Now nobody wants it.
No, I think it's icky. I feel
Why?
like, well, because it's like the whole thing with like dating a fan, right? I think that's why Raya feels weird.
Really?
Unless you
Aren't
meet,
isn't everybody kind of
someone.
famous on there?
No. I
Oh.
think I've heard of, I guess from my end, I've just heard of scary stories of like people kind of like clout chasing on Raya.
Big time.
Yeah, because you can kind of still get accepted into Raya without having to be like famous or whatever.
Got
I know
it. So you
stories of that.
find the open Gen Pop apps safer.
Yeah, I mean, I think I
Because
wouldn't
let me
say
tell you, I've been on Hinge, on other people's Hinges.
really.
It's scary out there.
It's really scary out there.
Honestly, Twitter is or I can't even say it right. Tinder is terrifying.
Yeah,
Or
Tinder's
are we back to Tinder? I don't even know how it works.
no. Tinder's kind of like not a
It's
thing.
Bumble? What about Bumble?
I heard good things about Bumble.
So you're just on Hinge.
I'm just on Hinge. Yeah. I think Hinge is the best one because you could do like voice prompts.
The voice
You know,
prompts are
it's
so fucking creepy.
really.
Do you have a voice prompt?
I do.
What do you
one.
say on
I
it?
have one, but I like mine. I feel like mine
Can
is
you play it right now?
Sure.
Thank
Sure.
you.
Okay. Okay. I'm actually so proud of mine.
Oh.
I like, what's funny is I feel like a lot of people make their prompts like on a whim, but obviously with my
You scripted
intentions.
it?
Well, I was going through a bad situationship breakup,
Oh.
and I was like, I need to level up, glow up, and just like the next one that I meet, the next girl I'm gonna meet, she's gonna be my wife. So I thought a lot about my my profile, and I was like, I'm gonna optimize my profile.
Oh, I can't wait
And
to look at your fucking profile.
and I did, it's so funny. The actor in me is like, I'm so used to doing self tapes, right? And I'm like, take 4, take 5, take 6, take 7 of my self tapes. So when I'm doing even something as trivial as my Hinge prompt, I have the same mentality. And I'm like, okay, take 5, I could do it funnier.
It's the Berkeley in you. It's the Berkeley. It's the Berkeley.
Yeah. So I did this like maybe 8 times, but it sounds natural, and I'm so proud of it.
You better play it. Put that right up to the
Okay.
microphone.
Okay. There's a prompt called a friend's review of me. A friend's review of me. Hi there, this is Sam's friend, and definitely not Sam himself. Sam, he is a great guy. He's funny, he's charming, handsome. Some would describe him as a golden retriever of sorts. He lent me $2,000 one time and was just like, bro, keep it. Solid guy. So if you haven't matched with me, if you haven't matched with him yet, you should go and do that. You see how natural that sounds?
It's
takes.
very cute.
8 takes.
And that's your only voice prompt, or you have another one?
No, that's my only one. I think if I did any
That's
more,
cute. That's very cute.
I
Let me see your
get
profile
I
right
get
now.
a lot of responses.
You do?
I
And
get
they
a
what do
lot
they
of
say?
responses
Oh
from
my
that
God,
voice
that's so
prompt.
funny. Okay, this picture is so cute.
I like that picture. Yeah.
Okay,
This is a good one.
the Riz is rizzing, yearning on rooftops. This year, I really want to cuff someone before winter comes so we can keep each other warm. I'm dying. Oh, okay,
I gotta
Sam.
hit him with that. That's the
Don't show this to my mom. Honestly, okay, I'm
It's a
convinced
very
that
slutty photo, I
it's
know.
so
Very
slutty.
slutty.
I'm convinced that true love doesn't exist. It's more like something to work toward. That's cute and actually very fucking real.
Mhm, mhm.
Together we could go on pure dates during sunset with some berries and wine. And if a dog happens to join us, I would not be opposed whatsoever.
I
What did
really
I
play
say
into the
4 minutes
stereotypes.
ago?
I really play into it.
What did I say? Guys with the dogs, serial killer behavior. How my friends see me, a special talent of mine, Golden State Warriors. That's my Bay Area boy.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
this
right.
is hilarious, and honestly, I would try to hit it. Wow. I really this is too funny. As a storyteller, I feel like there aren't enough storytelling moments that I've seen about how completely insane internet dating is. Maybe that's your next forte.
You know what? I've been thinking about that a lot. I'm workshopping some ideas I want to do in terms of like a feature or a TV show, but I do think I have a lot to say about dating just because I've been kind of like I've just been in the field, you know? I've been
Have you ever been
doing
in love?
research. Yes,
How was like
many
your longest
times.
relationship?
4 years, four and a
That's
half
long.
years. Yeah.
High school?
College. Yeah, post college actually.
You were cuffed up in college?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Well, end of college. Not like all of my college, but I was too dorky to have a girlfriend. I was like way too nerdy.
And then the Riz just rizzed.
And the Riz just kept rizzing.
Because those sexy curls in that hair of yours.
Thank you, thank you.
I mean,
My stylist would be so
is that
so
natural?
honored.
Oh, you're a stylist. You got a
Yeah.
stylist.
No,
Yeah.
no, she does my hair. My hair stylist.
Oh.
I have a person I go to.
Great
Yeah.
job. Highlights popping.
Yeah, it's good.
You
It's
can let
good.
her. You can tell her I said what's up.
She-
New
I
York or
will.
LA?
Both. Both. I have
Bi-coastal.
Bi-coastal. You gotta. I got
Okay, Sam, superstar Sam out here.
gotta make the investment in the hair. You know, as a guy, that's all we have going for us. We got nothing
That's
else.
not true. You have great eyebrows, beautiful
you.
skin.
Thank
You're
you.
tall.
Thank you.
What are we talking about?
Keep going.
Great clothes. Love the Gen Z pearls. Great smile.
I could do this all day. This is great. Your turn.
No, but so you've been in love many times.
Been in love a few times. Most recently was with a girl in New York. It's so sad. It's so,
How long
so
was it?
sad.
How long did it go?
4 months, 5 months.
That's the time. 4 or 5 months is when it either goes or it doesn't go.
And you know, the sad thing is I feel like it was like just early enough where it didn't go because of like circumstances in life, but you can tell that there was something substantial there.
You know, it's
You know what I'm
interesting.
saying?
As an old person, but sitting back, there are people in your life like that sliding doors moment.
Yes, yes.
And it's
Yeah.
really interesting because I am a firm believer that you actually have like many loves of your life in different capacities, like
Yeah.
friend love, family
Mm.
love, romantic sexual love,
Mhm,
like
mhm.
child, like my dog is one of the loves of my life. I've had
Yeah.
many dogs, but Ravioli,
You have a soul dog? Would you say it's
Ravioli
your soul dog or haven't
is
quite found it?
potentially my soul dog.
Potentially, okay.
My wife, really one of the loves of my life in
Yeah.
romantic but also friend ways. But I've
Mm.
dated people where I was like, damn, that could have gone.
Yes,
But it
yes.
didn't. And that's okay.
That's okay. What do you think of the quote? If the timing is not right, then that wasn't the right person.
I agree with it.
You agree with it?
I
Mm.
do. Because timing, you have to be in the right place in the right time. And sometimes you meet people and you are so not open energetically, or you haven't come to a place where you can recognize.
Yeah.
And I would say that even for work.
Mm.
There
I
are
see that.
there are things that you're just not ready for.
You know what's sad is I can accept it when it comes to work more than when it comes to love. Does that make sense?
Of course.
Like I could look back at something and be like, "Oh, of course I wasn't right for the role. I was too inexperienced," or "Oh, I was experienced, but I obviously was 5 years too old. I was like 4 or 5 years behind that part." But when it comes to love, something about the potential of it just hurts more. I can't accept it. I feel
that.
very
Wait,
conflicted.
when's your birthday?
October 6th.
Interesting. Libra.
Yes. Why?
I'm just curious.
Thoughts?
I thought maybe you were more of like a water sign. Do you know
No,
you're like rising and all that shit?
I don't, but I've just been told by my exes that uh I'm very Libra is like very toxic. But I
Not as toxic as Scorpio. Ask your buddy Jenny Yang about my
yeah,
reaction to that
okay.
because those Scorpios are fucking psychopaths. But
Mm-mm.
no, I just think that's really interesting. I think, yeah, I think with all things, it really is a time and a place.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, listen, I feel like I have gone through like so many things that have been heartbreaking when it comes to timing, and I can come to accept it. I can
Sure.
come to understand it. It makes sense to me, but I still can't get over it. I
Interesting.
still can't help but think about uh, the potential. It's like you know what it is? It's the worry that whatever you had in that moment that was such a specific feeling, you may never catch again. And I think with love, you just linger. Maybe it's just me. Maybe
No,
other
I
people
was the
cope with
same.
it
No, no,
differently.
no, no, no. Also, like, not to be even more lesbian and woo woo Bay Area, but you're also going into your Saturn return. Do you know what that is?
No, no.
It's the time between your like 28 and 31 where you
Oh.
supposedly see the most struggle, typically in your personal life and work, but you become the person you're going to become.
I see that. I definitely see
Do you
that.
feel, you know what I'm saying? Like you're
Mhm.
really like work wise, like you are relationship wise, like you're really going in and
You're
it's gonna
settling
hurt,
into
but
like
you're like settling.
adulthood,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. That's
What's a role that you wish you had gotten that maybe we would have known that you feel like you auditioned for?
man. Oh man. Oh, there's so many. There's so many. I feel like I was so close to so many really great things, but the thing is to preface, whatever answer I have, I am such a big fan of anybody who gets cast in anything that
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
right
yeah.
for,
We know they got the
So
role. We love them. Blah
no,
blah
no, no, but
blah.
like seriously though, because
I
like
know,
I
but like,
listen. Anytime I get bummed that I didn't get cast in something, and I watch someone who did get cast in it, I am never like, oh, I wish I could have done a better job or whatever, or like I think I could have done better. I genuinely agree because I see it and I go, yeah, I mean that's just a person. Like I think that casting directors and everybody who do their job is takes it so seriously, and I do feel like the system works, right? Like the majority system of agreeing on a choice generally works.
okay.
So I have never watched something and gone like, I should have gotten it, even though in my mind I'm like, it would have been really cool
Okay,
if I
what's
got
one
it.
thing that was the best casting ever, but you would it would have been cool?
Oh man, there's a couple. There's a couple. I don't think I'm honestly quite right for it, but I'm surprised I got as far as I did. But I did a number of years ago go out for live action Avatar.
That's tight
Yeah, so
and so random.
I read for the prince, whatever his name was. Just kidding. I know his name. I know his name.
You are such a
Yeah.
Prince-like behavior, like a vibe, Prince.
Oh, thank you, thank you. No, but that would
That's
have been
cool.
really.
That's random and crazy.
It is really random, but the person who ended up getting it, Dallas Liu, is an incredibly talented actor, and watching him in the show, I'm like, yeah, I mean, he's the perfect age. He has the martial arts background. He's a phenomenal actor. He's handsome as hell. So he's got the whole package. So when I watch him in it, I'm like, I can't even be mad. I'm just a fan
You
at that
probably
point.
had to do a lot of training, martial arts training for brother or son.
No, none. No, I was overqualified. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah. No, that's the funny thing. When the stunt team was like assessing me, because I do have some stunt stuff, they
okay.
were like, "You know too much.
Oh,
Stop. We're not going to teach you anymore. We can't have you knowing more than you already
oh,
do."
yeah, because for the character, it wouldn't have made sense.
Yes, exactly.
That's
So
cool.
they kind of like sheltered me and just placed me in a corner. Yeah.
And then trained everybody else
And, the
like
tra-
to fucking
and
hell
everybody
and
else was
back.
so badass, and I'm just in the corner like, oh, must be nice.
It must be nice. It's also been really great to see so much more just like Asian representation in Hollywood. It must be like a fun time for you seeing like all of these different projects, but also meeting all of these different folks. Again, that's why Brother Son seemed great because it was such an ensemble cast of like Asian excellence.
Yeah.
How
Yeah,
does
yeah.
that feel being a California kid, like in that world? Because
Oh
I
my
grew
god, it
up
was
just San Francisco Asian excellence all day, every day.
yeah.
But
No,
it's wonderful to see so much more now.
I mean, speechless, like genuinely speechless. There are moments in that project and even the pilot where it reminded me of like Kill Bill, which is
Yeah,
one of my favorite movies.
great movie.
And so when I see stuff like that, but in my hometown, and also I get a chance to be a part of it. I mean, it was surreal. Every day felt like a dream. You know,
Because the show was so
it
LA,
was so LA. Yeah,
and I like loved that.
yeah.
You know what I mean? It like
It's almost like its own character in the show. Like the
totally,
location is a part of the character.
which
Is a
must have
part
been
of
fun.
is a character in the show in its own right.
It must have been really, really fun.
It was awesome. It was awesome.
What would be your perfect date?
What would be my perfect date? What would be my perfect date? I don't know.
Not walking on the pier and a golden retriever appears.
No, I like that though. That sounds really cute. Okay, okay. If I the perfect date, are we can I ask which date is this? Date number 1 or like
Two.
just a perfect. Okay, date number 2.
Like first date was great. You walked on the pier, the golden retriever
Okay, okay, we've
arrived.
done that. Okay, okay.
Date number 2, because you're like excited and you're like, this is gonna be the greatest date ever.
I think meeting up for dinner, like dinner at like a really nice restaurant, maybe seafood. Something about seafood is really nice. I don't
Unless
know.
you get like a fucking norovirus outbreak. Did you see that in the LA Times?
No.
All these people went to the LA Times Food Festival and got completely like straight up ill from eating oysters from
What?
Providence. Yes. And
Well,
like
oh
everyone
my
was literally like
goodness.
projectile throwing up. It was like a scene from a movie.
That's why I don't do oysters.
You don't?
I'm terror.
Oh, I love oysters.
I will occasionally go, but I always have a fear, and I can't do more than 1 or 2 raw oysters. I'm a little bit too worried about what it could do to me long term.
Well, go
Short
Google
term.
it because it sounded like an exorcist, like
I was
crazy.
just throwing up on the
Everywhere,
side.
like
Yeah.
literally shitting and throwing up everywhere.
Yeah, I'm terrified of that. I'm terrified.
Okay, so back to
Yeah.
seafood.
Yeah, but I think like, you know, maybe like seafood, but you got to do some work. Like eat some crab or some lobster, you know. Get
Yeah,
feral
don't threaten
with
me
it.
with a good time.
Yeah.
Crack crab, Dungeness.
Exactly. Yes. I think something about working to get your food releases like the pheromones a little bit.
Oh, okay.
You know, it's kind of sexy.
Okay.
You know?
Okay. And then what happens? You just go home and book?
Not yet. No.
Okay.
There's-
Nice little stroll through the park.
No. We gotta. Yeah, I feel like maybe doing like getting a little dessert would be cute. You know, a little
Cute.
sweet treat. That's something
Love
I
a
see on
sweet
Hinge
treat.
a lot. That's a common one.
Sweet treat.
The way to win me over is a sweet treat.
I
see that
also
all the
really
time.
loved one video where you were like, you're like dating in this economy be like, and you're just like hopping over the turnstile
Yeah,
and
yeah.
grabbing flowers because it's so expensive
It's
now.
so expensive.
Like I'm married and I literally look at my
Yeah.
wife and I'm like, girl, we ain't going out. I don't know what the fuck is this. This is too much.
No, it's crazy.
So, it's like,
Did you hear about the girl who went on a date every other day and got free food for a year? Because she just went on like
God bless her.
200 first dates.
But that was sort of me back in the day.
Jealous.
I was
Jealous.
broke. I was so broke.
I get
was
it.
literally
though.
like auditioning, eating out of I was working in restaurants, like eating like the food people didn't eat. Like
Yeah.
it was not great. So
I
I
feel
was
you.
like, let me go on these dates with these gnarly ass dudes.
Yeah,
Sorry. Not sorry.
I get it.
You know, it's too
Yeah.
risky going out with a woman because it's like, who's gonna pay? You know what I mean? So I just was like, guys all the way. Fuck all this patriarchy and misogyny. You pay, motherfucker. But okay, so a little sweet
yeah.
treat.
Little sweet treat, you know, maybe some ice cream or yogurt. I feel like in New York, you can't go wrong with going to the pier. You can't go wrong with hanging out at a
Back
pier.
to the pier.
It's a really great way to
Like
just have a
Hudson
conversation.
Yards?
Yeah. I
Okay.
mean, there's so many different piers. I personally like Williamsburg. I think it has the best view of the city.
Oh yeah, it does.
Yeah. Like if you go a little bit out of New York, like not in
To
Manhattan.
see New York.
Yeah, to see New York. Something about it is super surreal.
Jersey City.
Yeah, maybe get on a ferry. I think a
Like
ferry's
that.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, or like apple picking or something, going
Oh,
upstate.
no,
I
that's a
don't
hard pass.
really?
I don't wanna drive with you anywhere. On a second date, outside of the city, too much.
Yeah,
It's a
honestly, on a
commitment.
second date, I
Leave that
went
to the 4th.
I went on a date, all the way up in Uptown in, like, Connecticut, or not Connecticut, maybe it was just upstate New York, but there was, like, a museum, like, an architecture museum. It was super nice, and you could spend a whole day there, and
Oh, is
it
it the
was
one with
real,
all the
real
art outside? The
mm,
sculptures outside? That's upstate New York.
I think they're more known for architecture.
That's cool.
It's like a ranch that got turned into, like, a really
Tight.
yeah, just a really badass. I
I'd
mean,
be
it's a
into
very
that.
modern kinda, like they got, like, a bunch of, like, architects from Japan to work on
Sick.
it. The girl who took me, she's an architect, that's why, she's an interior designer, so she was, like, really into it, but
What
that's
happened?
something
What
I've
happened
realized
with
I'm
her?
really
She sounds great.
I know, that's the one that didn't work out.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
lucky for you, you've got the Met, the Guggenheim. You've got so many things to
yes.
do in New
Oh my god,
York.
a museum would be great. A museum date would be awesome too.
Just went to
Go
the
to a
Met.
museum.
They have 3 amazing.
Yes.
They have the largest collection of mandalas, a
Wow.
whole history of
Wow.
Mexican art block
They have so
printing,
many.
which was
Yes.
tight, and then
Yes.
Egypt through the lens of Black America. Sick.
Yes. And
10 out of 10 recommend.
you know what's very underrated there
Mm.
is the live music. They have live music, I think, on date nights, which is like Fridays,
I
Saturdays.
agree.
Yeah, and then you could get some wine at the
Honestly, we should maybe date.
yeah.
I'm just kidding. I mean,
I'll
everybody's
pay. I'll
yeah.
pay. Yeah.
Okay, last but not least, what are your hot takes on this ridiculous like ethical like non-monogamy, polyamory? Everybody's like ethical non-monog like
You
isn't this
know,
just an excuse to like not commit?
yeah, well, for a long time, I think I was like, I looked down on it, but then I don't think it's my cup of tea personally. Like,
Sure.
I think I prefer something. I'm always looking for something more stable.
Okay.
But I have met some people who have explained it to me in terms of how they see the world, and I can understand it. And I think that if you're honest with yourself and you're like, hey, I really cannot see myself being with one person, like I'm just super polyamorous and that's exactly how I'm wired, I feel like I can understand it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, listen, you can't make a hoe into a housewife. And I think that if you
That's not
can
what I was
understand that,
so not what I was expecting,
if
but I love
you
that.
can really just be honest with yourself, then I agree. I just find listen, I'm from San Francisco. These
Yeah.
crazy people have been polyamorous for years and years and years. It's nothing new to me. I
Right,
just
right.
see it more and more with my younger friends. And I'm like, it's too much.
Yeah. I'm not sure how I feel about it too. I wonder why the trend is going that way. I wonder why people are feeling
Yeah,
that way.
well, maybe it comes if we full circle it back. Too many options, bigger, better deal.
Yeah.
ADHD, because apparently everybody has it.
You know, I think you're onto something. I actually think the ADHD thing is bigger than we give credit for. I think it's actually a
100%.
much bigger issue. I blame TikTok.
Well, I blame TikTok for everything.
Yeah.
I can't go down.
I love TikTok. Listen, I love TikTok. I love the creators on there, but I blame what it's done to our brains in terms of
Agreed.
dating.
Agreed.
You know, it's like we used to be able to sit down and watch a movie and commit to 90 minutes of our lives to something. And now it's like, ooh, but maybe I can get a bigger hit of dopamine if I just open my phone real quick. And people do that when they're watching a movie. I do that when I'm watching a movie. It's terrible.
I know. I watched Dune the other day because I had never seen it.
Oh,
I kept
okay.
falling asleep on the plane to it. And I was like, I'm going to watch Dune. My wife was out. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm going to sit here. I'll have like a tiny bit of an edible.
Yeah, okay.
Halfway through, I was like, I don't know what these people are saying to each other through their minds.
Really? I
Started
was locked
scrolling.
in. I was
Were
locked
you?
in on Dune too. I could not keep my eyes
I don't even
off of
understand
the
what's happening
screen.
in Dune. So like,
Ah,
and then the movie stops.
yes.
And so what? Does he become the king of the people in the sand?
That's for the third movie to find out.
Oh, it didn't even happen in the second movie?
No. There's still so much more.
I'm out. There's
still so much more. Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's what happened. I think TikTok has trained us to hunt for dopamine. Like now, I know so many people who like their bedtime routine is getting in bed and like scrolling, like doom scrolling for an hour and then going to bed. And it's like, how do you even retain anything?
My wife calls it a little show.
Yeah.
But I curate basically like kids falling down or like people getting hurt, like America's Funniest Home Videos.
Yeah.
And we scroll that for about an hour.
That's fun. That's fun.
It is fun.
Nothing like a little bit of people's misery to put yourself to sleep, you know?
That's true. Honestly, Sam, you're lucky that I'm not 28 years old. We would have gotten married.
Okay.
You are a delight.
Oh,
I can't wait to see what you direct and what you create.
Thank you.
I love your manager, but I could be your manager number 2.
Okay.
Thank you for joining me.
We'll talk.
Thank you for joining me on basically Christmas Eve.
Oh, no worries. I'm in town, so.
And you're the only person I like following on TikTok.
Oh my God. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
That means so much. And thank you for having me. This has been like wonderful. The studio is actually so nice.
Oh, you can keep that, Joseph, in the episode if you want.
Yeah.
Sam, you're the best.